You're listening to 90 Day Soulmate with the Relationship Engineers, Jim Gulnick and Lisett Guevara, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to 90 Day Soulmate with Lisett
and Jim.
Today we've got a powerfully packed program of information on Chapter 10 from the book 90 Day Soulmate, Online Dating Success, now including in-app information. Mm-hmm. So many years ago when we wrote that book, many years ago.
Before the internet,
we used to chip profiles into stones and leave them on the ground, and people would go, oh, I like that smell. That smells like basil and onions and garlic. He likes pasta sauce. Exactly. And so that's how we found our stone mate. No, that's not how we did it. We used online dating. That's how we met. And this chapter 10 from our book, 90 Day Soulmate, was dedicated into how you take all of the book and you roll it into an online profile to find your soulmate. Mm-hmm. Build your relationship. All those things that we do in the book, though, however, work for an app, online, if you meet somebody that a friend introduces you to, if you go to a club, if you go to a hobby, you go to an exercise class, all those things all benefit from doing the prior chapters in 90 Day Soulmate before you attend that. So let's take a look again. So we talk about online dating success. So today's show is Opposites Attract, or Birds of Feather. Then we're going to talk about impact of personality in relationships. Finally, we're going to run through Chapter 10 with online dating success. Many people are aware of opposites attract, where, the mystery of that person who's different from you, and like, wow, they're different, I'm attracted, and you see them and you go, opposites attract. Do you think that's a viable way to meet somebody?
Not necessary.
It could be. It's not necessary. We'll talk about that in a minute. How about birds of a feather?
I don't know what
you don't know how to explain. Birds of a feather flock together. So when you see crows and you see seagulls and you see the things that are similar,
the group.
They get along. They have what do they have? They have innate similarities in things they need for survival. They can communicate well with each other. They understand each other, maybe a little better. So when we talk about birds of feather, we're talking about people who share maybe your upbringing, your family upbringing, that kind of style. Maybe geographically, where you grew up, familiar with the same things and inputs in society.
Okay.
Maybe they grew up with the same friends, or at least maybe they went to the same type of school you did. Mm-hmm. Maybe they drove the same car you did.
Oh, the same career. Maybe.
Same career. That when you talk about birds of feather, there's something in this camaraderie, this sameness, that makes people feel comfort.
Yeah.
Perhaps even an understanding of how that person will act. Let's start off with bullet point number 1. Introduction to relationship beliefs and preferences. So there was a study that was done on relationship beliefs and preferences where hundreds and hundreds of couples were surveyed from the ages of 21 to 64 years old. There were these couples, and they were asked about relationships, if they favored people that were similar in many ways or different. They examined the impact, this study examined the impact of relationship beliefs, the belief they had. Did they believe that you needed somebody that was like you or not in all these areas, and what these preferences did to the relationship. It challenged, the study challenged the common belief that opposites attract, that there is limited evidence for long-term relationship success with opposites. In fact, most studies are done for long-term relationships. Most aren't done for short-term relationship success.
Okay.
So most of the studies done on relationships are based upon long-term, which makes sense. That's where the money is. Right? Oh, I want to know how to get into a short-term relationship.
That's just fun.
Many ways you can do it. Here, join me at the bar. I'll show you.
Oh, it's the gun. The time is gone.
Next one. Ding. Speed dating. That's a short-term relationship.
Yeah.
You have a relationship for 3 minutes. Isn't that great?
Yes, it's good.
Wonderful. What else do we have here? Additional point that the focus on preference for similarity across various dimensions is a predictor of relationship outcomes. And that's part of the study, that similarities in various dimensions of personality and different traits and background is a predictor of relationship success. You may be, well, that's boring. I want somebody who's completely different than me.
Like you.
If you want an argument every night, you want to fight every night, you want to go to bed crying every night, if you don't want to talk for days on end,
Stay with the positive person.
So as we said, that the belief that opposites attract remains popular despite very little evidence that supports the success of relationships. This belief may enhance excitement and drama in short-term relationships, but lacks foundation in serious long-term pairings. Finally, research predominantly examines the dynamics of serious relationships, and it questions the validity of the belief that opposites attract.
I guess one important point is you can find somebody thinking different, but the capacity that you understand and agree that people can think different is other part of your mature,
Well, I'll say it like this. Say you're a catcher's mitt and somebody else is a baseball. Somebody throws the ball, they throw the ball, you catch it. Guess what? You're different, right? One's the ball, one's the mitt. They're opposites, but you're both playing baseball. So it could be that in certain areas you have opposite complementary aspects, but they fit the game because you're in the same game, you have the same long-term goal.
Yeah, you don't have to lose. You are part of the team and working together.
Right, part of the team. It takes all players to make a team. There's no I in team, but there's what? There's a me, right? Me. There's me in team, and there's no you though. That's
what
not
are you
good.
Talking about?
I don't know. We'll end up cutting this probably.
Yeah, I prefer.
Let's go back to this.
I don't agree this difference.
Individuals who were questioned and researched show a strong preference for partners who are similar in emotional, social, and practical life aspects. Factors include emotions, romanticism, social values, lifestyle, job, and intellect. These are things that relate to long-term relationship success. Stress the desire for compatibility. So these studies, this one specifically, stresses the desirability for compatibility and shared perspectives in a relationship, leading to things to talk about and, give us something to talk about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Similarities provide positive reinforcement of worldviews, facilitating mutual understanding and conversation, like we just said, supports shared life experiences, increases the likelihood of engaging in activities together. Similarity is a strong predictor of positive long-term relationship outcomes. So again, it's the opposite of being boring. People think, oh, I'm going to be bored if someone's like me. I like the opposite because it's exciting. But what happens is long-term relationship, having similar perspectives, even if they're a little bit different, gives you something to talk about.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yes.
Yes.
We are on the same page.
So the conclusion of this is the study suggests reevaluation of the opposites attract notion and is in favor of compatibility through similarity. The study emphasizes the importance of shared values, interests, and perspectives in fostering long-term, lasting romantic relationships. That's what the whole book is about, right? 90 Day Soulmate is to find compatibility by self-analysis, understanding of where you came from, the family you grew up with, the friends you had, all those things, educational, cultural, beliefs, values, job.
And working first with yourself. Try to work with the partner, because you can't do that.
You can't. But we're going to talk a lot more about this when we come back on 90 Day Soulmate with Lisett
and Jim.
Tired of attracting the wrong type of guy, it was time to give something else a try. She got her computer and started to plan, and created a process to find her man. Soon she went on a perfect date, and then she knew it must be fate. In just 90 days, that is all it took. How she found her match? It is in the book.
Welcome back to 90 Days Soulmate with Lisett
and Jim.
Today we're talking about Chapter 10 from the book, 90 Days Soulmate. That's the story of love. The Chapter 10 of the book talks about online dating success. Again, today that could be an app, it could be online, it could be things that help you move to that point. But Chapter 10 is specifically, now that you're wanting to get out there and meet people and see the most potential people as fast as you can in order to get to that one or a couple.
Days.
That's your soulmate in 90 days. That's Chapter 10. It wraps up the book. It puts a bow around the book. We wanted to look about some other things that we wanted to look about personality. What does personality, how does that impact relationships? So we wanted to look about what we want to look into personality in relationships. So the introduction to this is personality traits significantly influence romantic relationship and satisfaction. The big 5 personality traits, which are known under the acronym OCEAN, serve as a framework for understanding these dynamics. We'll actually go into each of those 5 personality traits in a second. Stability in personality over time plays a key role in long-term relationship outcomes. But it's not only stability. It's also movement towards better traits. So when you go from being an adolescent to an adult, there are some rapid changes in personality. And personality traits are supposedly relatively steady over a lifetime.
Okay.
So how can it be both? And I think it's both, is that you can develop better attributes as you gain more knowledge. Your personality traits are tempered by what you put into your brain, how your brain grows, how you change over time. And so the more you start moving towards something, the more your personality may take on, and we'll talk about some things that were done in a study, but agreeableness. So that maybe as a child you were spoiled and you said no to everything, and then as you got older you start going, okay, I say no all the time. I have to stop saying no. I have to listen. I have to be more agreeable.
So but it's
yes, and I need to be more open to new experiences, and I need to be more conscientious about what I do and how it impacts others. Everything I said just...
Bravo.
Everything I said...
You read this book,
I did. Not only did I read it, but we wrote it.
Yeah.
The point being, everything I said just there is typically what happens as people mature. It doesn't necessarily mean it will happen, but that's the direction that most people go in. They become more agreeable till they get old, then they become disagreeable with everything.
Yeah.
They are more open to new experiences and listening to others' points of view. And they're more conscientious because they're more responsible. Maybe they started a family, they have to take care of children, they have to have a job, they need to bring in money. Once these things happen...
Yeah, but that does not happen for everybody.
It doesn't. You're absolutely correct.
Yes.
The movement, though, generally, the movement would be towards that rather than away from it. For long-term survival, when you move in that direction, it gives you a better chance of survival of the fittest by fitting in with people who can trust you because your behavior is consistent, you're agreeable, so they want you on their team, and you're not neurotic. Right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
How you describe so well.
The 5 big personality traits that also are known under the acronym OCEAN are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. These are the 5 broad aspects of personality that have been accepted by psychologists around the globe for the last who knows how many years. Each trait impacts romantic relationships differently, influencing compatibility and satisfaction. Finally, compatibility in these traits can enhance relationship satisfaction and longevity. For instance, just imagine if one person's a real extrovert and one person's a real introvert, and one wants to go out and be with people and party all the time. The other one's like, I don't want to do that. That's tough. So you have to have similarities in some of these things, right? Like the openness to new experiences. If you always want to, I want to drive a Porsche today, I want to skydive tomorrow, I want to go skiing, I want to travel here, and the other person's like, I don't want to do all those things. I'm very happy just going home and playing a game on the computer, every day. So compatibility in these different personality traits help long-term relationships. The big 5 traits, what are they? Again, openness, we were just talking about, it's the capacity to think outside the box. It's basically also called openness to new experience. Conscientiousness is the regulation and control of impulses towards a goal, meaning you want to make sure that you're heading in the right direction, and that if you have the impulse to do something emotional that moves you away from your goal, you are able to consciously think about it and say, wait, that's not the right thing to do. Or if you say to somebody you're going to do something, you do it because you're conscientious. Extroversion is where do you derive your energy? Where do you gather energy? Is it out with people? Or is it in maybe an intimate relationship and discussion? Or is it just thinking inside yourself? Where do you get your energy? Agreeableness, how people interact with each other in relationships. Are they agreeable? Or are they disagreeable? And then finally, neuroticism. It's also known as emotional instability, where you may interpret world events as threatening. So things bother you. Oh, that scares me. Oh, what's going on here? They're talking behind my back. They don't like me.
You're driving fast.
Oh.
What happened?
Or someone cut you off and you're like, they're out to get me. I know it. Like you think these world events are threatening to you, right?
Exactly.
Yes. How do those, you think, change the way people interact with each other? Let's take a look. Significant personality changes occur. Oh, we talked about this. So significant personality changes occur in young adulthood, affecting relationship dynamics. Increased agreeableness, conscientiousness, and emotional stability are common. These changes can positively influence romantic relationship satisfaction over time. Isn't that good to know?
Yeah.
So even though these are traits that tend to stay with you, you can build in a positive direction if you work on it. And if you don't work on it and don't care, you could just get worse.
Yeah, but also when I see the personality sometimes change depend of the people when you are. So I see the person with one partner acting different with the other. So I guess the energy together create some kind of, your personality is your personality. And also the Stephen Covey book separate character versus personality. The character is more in deep, difficult to change. But your personality, you can, like they just explained, grew up reading more book, learn, and reprogram your mind. But this, when you are with somebody, maybe your personality change a little bit.
So you think with some people your personality may remain stagnant, and with others it can grow and change?
Yeah.
sometimes in a positive fashion, and with the wrong person, it can go the opposite way.
No wrong person, different person.
I'm sorry, different person, because it's somebody who's not compatible with your positive growth, right?
So you grow so much also with the wrong person, because you learn that you don't have to be there.
That's true, too. Impact of neuroticism on relationships. High neuroticism, where you think there's a lot of threats, you perceive threats, it's associated with lower relationship satisfaction. Emotional instability and negative interpretations can strain relationships. And finally, awareness and management of neurotic tendencies can mitigate negative impacts on relationships. So people who are anxious and they're having maybe thoughts that the world's against them, or sometimes these are things that maybe it's good to have some self-help, or maybe even talk to a therapist, especially if you're in a relationship and you see how your anxiety is impacting you, how you're feeling about it. And if you're feeling there's something, I don't like how I'm feeling in this relationship, you can look at therapy to see, is it something you need to work on in yourself? Or maybe it's the relationship. And maybe with a different person in a different relationship, those anxious moments go away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
You agree with me?
I do.
Okay.
The role of conscientiousness. What do you think? You think it's a positive one? I think conscientiousness would be really positive. High levels of conscientiousness contribute to greater romantic satisfaction. You worry about the other person. You want to make sure you're doing the right things, you're moving towards your goals, and you're not getting off track. Traits like reliability and goal orientation foster stable and fulfilling relationships. Finally, seeking or nurturing conscientiousness can be a beneficial long-term strategy for relationship success.
Okay, so explain me more about that. What is the mean?
Nurturing is working on it. So like if you say, okay, conscientiousness is, I'm going to put down in my schedule on my iPhone that, at 5:30 on every Thursday, I need to bring flowers to Lisett. So you're reminding yourself to be conscientious. If you have things you want to remember, things you want to do, you start planning. You plan ahead. You make a goal and you keep your goal and you stay on track. And so you work on things, you work on properties, you work on behaviors that move you towards doing what you say, doing what you promise, doing a good job.
Yeah.
And if you start doing a good job at work, you'll start doing a good job at home, start doing a good job when you interface with strangers. And when I say good job, you start doing a consistent.
Okay, but what happens when the people are forced to do that and feel bad doing that?
What do you mean? Tell me what you mean. Feel bad being forced? Well, if you're saying...
Force itself is not something that I feel to give the flower versus I have to remind me to give the flower.
Well, maybe you want to do it, but you know that you're a little bit distracted. And so the way to stop being distracted is you put it in your schedule. On the other hand, I know people who were given expectations by their partner. Like, you said you were going to be home at 5 o'clock. It's now 5:05 and you haven't left work yet. I don't trust you. Right? So you hear that and now I go, oh, okay, I got to put in my thing. I need to leave at 4:45 in order to be home at 5 because that's what they expect. And so now you're doing things, quote, conscientiously because you're being expected to do it, but you're doing it in a reaction to maybe neuroticism, that I'm anxious. And I'm only being conscientious because I want to avoid being anxious, or I want to limit anxiousness because I'm much less anxious in order to go home at the right time than to have to hear my partner say these things about I don't care.
That's the reason I'm not staying home in the night.
I don't want to hear those things. That's beautiful, beautiful. Conclusion. No, and we were just talking about nurturing, and I'm glad you brought up the word nurturing. That nurturing successful relationships takes a little bit of understanding, and that compatibility in key personality traits can predict relationship satisfaction. So look for somebody who has similar personality traits. They don't have to be the same, but be on the same team. Personal growth and development in traits like conscientiousness and agreeableness support healthy relationships. Finally, long-term romantic success involves both understanding inherent personality dynamics and fostering positive trait development. So if you believe your traits can be developed, you can work on them. If you believe they're immalleable, if they can't be changed, then maybe you'll just say, oh, I'm who I am and I'm not going to change. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
Yeah, I hear that before.
So when we first met, I said, I am who I am, and da-da-da-da. And then, years later, I've gone to school, we've read books, we've written books.
He said he never changed, and he changed every day.
I do. Not only that, as we talk about when we put these shows together, there's a lot of research involved before we put the show together. And every time we do the research, I learn new things. We learn new things. We talk about it. We hope we share those things with you.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to talk more about this on 90 Day Soulmate.
Tired of attracting the wrong type of guy, it was time to give something else a try. She got her computer and started to plan and created a process to find her man. Soon she went on a perfect date. And then she knew it must be fate. In just 90 days, that is all it took. How she found her match? It is in the book.
Welcome back to 90 Day Soulmate with Lisett
And Jim.
Today we're flying through online dating success and apps by first going into personality and going into long-term relationship studies on compatibility. Now we're rolling right into the chapter for online dating success. Slide 1, Introduction to Online Dating Success. Online dating provides access to like-minded individuals looking for a special someone. Stay true to yourself and your desires throughout the dating process. And the psychological insight on this is the paradox of choice in dating apps can sometimes make it harder to make a decision. What does that mean? So dating app itself, there's so many out there. Which one do I do?
Yeah.
Which software do I use, or what program, what website do I use, or what app on my phone? There's so many decisions. And if I make the wrong one, I meet the wrong person. So I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes it's just picture, it's no information, so it's like that you play the casino, so
oh my gosh.
see what happens.
And I think some people put together an app that puts information first before the picture, and you have to sort people by compatibility before you choose their picture, which is an interesting concept. And others, the picture is very important too. What happens is that short-term relationships are mostly based upon physical aspects of the relationship. What does the person look like? Where long-term relationships, the physical aspects of that are important, but they become less important in the total picture of compatibility. Choosing the right site. Paid sites may offer more serious prospects due to the investment required. So in looking at what's out there, if you have to pay for the app or pay for the website, others have to pay as well. Both free and paid sites can lead to successful connections. The commitment level of users on paid dating sites can lead to more intentional dating behaviors. So there was a website that I remember that had like the 29 dimensions of compatibility, and you had to pay. It was almost an outrageous fee. It was like $149 a year for it, and you had to have all this background on the web. You had to answer all these questions before you could even start to match. It was daunting. It was a big barrier to entry for people, but they also had a really good success rate matching people and incompatibility, because there were people who were willing to invest their time in filling out the profile, doing the 29 dimensions of compatibility, and paying. And that was, what is that called? A barrier to entry. Yeah. And with that, you had a smaller group of more compatible people. Now, that's a choice. Do you do that, or do you just try to meet as many people as you can at one time? Marketing approaches, speaking of meeting as many people at one time, There are two approaches in marketing, which we're going to say similar to online dating. The shotgun approach: attract the widest variety of prospects by being less selective initially. Just try to meet a lot of people. The rifle approach is being more selective up front. Target potential soulmates by being more specific and selective up front. The effectiveness of self-presentation strategies in online dating or app dating varies based upon your personal goals. Just want to meet a lot of people as quickly as possible, you go in one way and you filter less. The other way, you want to meet the right person who matches you and you've done all the upfront work, then be more selective. The other thing, all these things, all these schemes or processes that we talk about work whether you're going online or in an app or trying to meet a friend's friend, being set up, going to a hobby where you're, I don't know, bowl. You want to go bowling every week in a league and you want to meet people there. All these upfront selection criteria that you've developed, no matter how you are going to meet people, are important.
Yeah. Any effort is if you feel there is magic and the soulmate knock the door, it's not happening.
We talk about something in chapter 10 called show, tell, and be, that you want to show in how you present yourself in photos, how you are, meaning like if you like to go camping, show some pictures of you in a campsite, walking in the mountains. You want to tell people that's what you like. So authentic visual representations leads to more meaningful connections. And the psychological insight, visual cues are critical in forming first impressions online. So you want what you say, what you write, and how you look to be representative of who you are and what you want in your relationship. If you want to meet somebody serious that is a business professional, then you should probably dress more like a business professional than like I did in my bathing suit.
No, the point is sometimes the people lie in the first date, and you have to be careful, because if you lie, oh yes, I am doctor, I am lawyer, I am engineer, whatever, and then you move forward, and then you told me that in the first date. So be honest and like that you say, I'm dressing in the proper way.
Be show it's show, tell, and be who you really are. Be authentic. Be honest in your profile to attract compatible matches. Use your profile to clearly state what you're looking for in a relationship. Authenticity in self-disclosure can increase attraction and compatibility. I agree with that. Be yourself when meeting people. Let your true personality shine through. That's something difficult. Sometimes you want to be different. Oh, you're so nice and kind. We were talking about why you should meet the friends of the person you're dating, why you should meet the family of the person you're dating. We talked about birds of feather flocking together. Your partner is going to be like their friends. If you meet your partner's friends and they don't like you and you don't like them, that's probably how your partner is if they weren't in the dating phase, in the marketing phase of the relationship. If they weren't infatuated with you and you weren't infatuated with them, they would start acting more like their friends. It's not always the case, but a lot of times people are like their family and friends. This is why in a situation where you're able to meet family and friends of the person that you're dating, do it earlier. Don't wait until 3 years into the relationship. In fact, at 3 years into the relationship, they've already probably become who they were.
Yeah.
And they're off that marketing thing.
And this is a long relationship.
So that is a long relationship. So consistent behavior in the online and offline personality, the behavior will enhance trust and relationship satisfaction. I like that. What else do we have here? Safety and security online, whether in an app or online, is exercise caution, stay objective about red flags. Trust is built through consistent behavior over time. slowly building cautious trust in online interactions is often stronger. If you slow build the relationship, you can end up with a stronger relationship. If you do it quickly, it may break as soon as you learn they aren't who they said they were. And again, we met online. We are not saying that whether you're on an app or whether you're online, it's good or bad for you. And in fact, we are saying, please, we've both undoubtedly been tried to be scammed hundreds of times with fake pictures and fake profiles, people asking for money.
Yeah.
Actually, that's how we first met. No, just kidding.
You not pay me back. Oops.
Be wary of profiles that seem too good to be true or ask for financial assistance, just like what we said. Trust your instincts and look for inconsistencies. Cognitive biases can make us susceptible to scams. Awareness is key. What do we mean by that, the biases that we have?
Yes, I hear the one therapist talking about narcissism person and say that they can seduce you so good and you don't get it. So they say if you start to see this kind of person online, go slowly, because the narcissism wanna go fast because he wanna surprise, he wanna use the first emotion,
manipulation, emotion.
If you slow down, you're not a good what is it called?
Victim?
Yeah, victim. Yeah, exactly.
So be careful of people online. And the cognitive biases are, I really want to get into a date, so I project. I have expectation that this person is wonderful, and I believe what I want to believe as they tell me the lies. So they're lying to me, but I want to believe them, so I trust them. And that's the challenge we have when we're trying to meet somebody at in the first place, and our emotions are heavy in our heart.
Now you remember that
believe.
we have a friend that she is a therapist, and she wrote the book, and she was involved in this, and I tried to watch up to say you have a video with the person, and that she's so intoxicated with the seduction that she don't want to see the truth.
And the person kept on wanting to, we'll have a video this night, and then they'd cancel. And then, I have to do this, and my mother's sick, so it was always an excuse, right?
And then the guy disappeared.
Oh. So we talking about that. We say talk on the phone, video chat, gauge the authenticity and compatibility. Never rush into a meeting. Take your time to know the person. Voice and video interactions can reveal nonverbal cues that are vital for assessing trustworthiness. And I'm going to say this because I've heard this over time. Don't send pictures. If you don't know the person and you haven't known them for a long time and you don't trust them amazingly, don't send pictures. There's so many people who have had their lives ruined by sending intimate pictures to a scam artist and then having somebody say, I'm going to send them to all your Facebook friends unless you pay me money.
Exactly.
And there are people who have actually taken their own lives because of this. Please, please, please use caution. Soul-seeking souls. Our souls will connect with the other person if they are the right person beyond physical and mental barriers. So you want to seek a connection that feels right on a soulful level. You should feel self-observation, right? You see how you feel about the relationship. If you feel like there's something wrong or you feel like you're being manipulated, chances are you are. Deep emotional connections can lead to more satisfying relationships. These usually take time.
Yeah.
Even though you may recognize someone who could be your soulmate pretty early on in the relationship, the deep connection and the trust and the consistency takes time. You don't want to invest too heavily or change all the things. Like somebody wants you to move with them to a different country or to a different state, and you don't know them that well. Just slow down. There'll be plenty of time for love. Other than Lisett. With me, that was fine. So we want to align mind, body, and soul. True connections are made when we align our mind, body, and soul with our partners. Work on personal growth and clarity to attract your soulmate. Self-concept clarity can improve relationship satisfaction. Isn't that the whole book is about self-concept? It's about understanding who you are clearly so you can then project what you want accurately to someone else.
Yeah.
And then when you build that into your subconscious, you'll automatically see those people that match rather than only see those people who are opposites. Those people who aren't boring. Because maybe you see yourself as boring, so someone who's like you, you're like, oh, they're not exciting. And so short-term relationships are built on excitement that burns out. And a lot of times that's opposites attract.
Yeah.
Tired of attracting the wrong type of guy, it was time to give something else a try. She got her computer and started to plan and created a process to find her man. Soon she went on a perfect date. And then she knew it must be fate. In just 90 days, that is all it took. How she found her match? It is in the book.
We want you to make sure that you enjoy the process. No matter how scary we tell you it is, it's also exciting, it's fun, you meet new people, and if you're meeting the right people in the right situations, you may have a real enjoyable time as you find and meet your soulmate. Embracing the journey of personal discovery can enhance your well-being. So enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess
relish it.
that is make you relaxing and maybe understand that is who you are versus be stressful.
So how will I know? How will I know when I met my soulmate? How will I know who that person is? Should we trust the process in our own transformation? Yes, we should. Intuition plays a crucial role in recognizing compatibility. So it may not be that you can recognize incompatible people until you find somebody who you're compatible with.
Mm-hmm.
Navigating the first impressions. First impressions online can be managed through thoughtful profile creation. First impression sets the stage. The consistency will let you know how the play ends. A first date, a first impression might not be good, but if you give a relationship some time, you may see that consistently they act in a way that you like and respect. Mm-hmm. Whereas maybe they were really nervous the first time you met.
Yeah. So give time.
In fact, the people who are going to scam you the most are going to be the most impressive when you first meet them.
You are the scanner.
I'm a big scanner. Yeah. Oh, wait, it's me. Effective communication online. Be clear and honest. Ask open-ended questions. Try to get feedback. Managing expectations can prevent disappointment. Absolutely. The role of self-reflection. Use your dating experiences to reflect on what you truly seek in a partner. See who seems to be a match and who doesn't. Self-reflection enhances personal growth. All important things, are they not?
Yes.
Continuing on. Patience. We just spoke about patience. Finding a soulmate is a journey that requires patience and persistence. Every interaction and experience is a step towards understanding what you want in a relationship. We talk about 90-day soulmate, how you did it in less than 90 days, right?
Yeah.
But it took you an analysis, a self-analysis that took years. You had to live through many things that allowed you to see your life and self-observe how you were in order to come up with the process. So if you haven't done any of that and you start going into self-observation and understanding who you are and what you want in a relationship, then once you go through all that, it can rapidly happen. But don't think as soon as you get the book in 90 days, you're going to be finding a relationship.
You marry.
Do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work. And it works.
Yeah, we have some people that followed and told sometimes 6 months, 3 months, 1 year. But
trust the process. We already talked about that. Do we say trust the process?
Yeah.
The power of positivity. Be positive in your attitude. Positivity attracts positivity. It enhances your appeal to others. If you're negative, oh, I'm never going to find somebody. Well, who would want to find somebody who says, I'm never going to find somebody?
Yeah.
Be positive. A confident person that's confident in who they are. They don't have to be like somebody else. They just have to be sure of themselves. A confident person who's confident in who they are becomes more attractive. Positive outlook can improve your personal well-being as well. Learning from experiences. Every dating experience, whether negative or positive, you can learn from.
Yeah.
Reflect on those experiences to refine your understanding of what you seek. Reflective learning is part of learning. It's part of growing. And if you don't have the opportunity to have a bad experience because you're afraid to date, you'll have no experience. Right? Yeah. So when you ask for something, if you're afraid you're going to hear a no, so you don't ask for it, you'll never get the yes.
It's when people say, oh, yes, scared to fall in love. You want to understand what beautiful fall in love, and maybe you fail, but do the experience.
So the most important part of this whole book is cultivate your own interests and happiness independent of your dating life. We always talk about 90-day soulmate, meeting the person, having a romantic relationship, but the most important person to love and develop is yourself. And with that self-development comes the confidence that you know who you are, and it makes you more attractive.
Yeah.
It builds your self-esteem. It doesn't make you big-headed, but it makes you walk with a sense of confidence, talk with knowledge, and makes yourself more open to meeting like-minded people because you know who you are and you know how to convey your wants and your desires and your needs to someone else. A full independent life is attractive and can enhance a future relationship as well. The more developed you are in what your likes are, what your desires are, what your hobbies are, the more likely you'll find somebody who has overlapping desires as well.
Yeah.
Things they want, goals. Embrace vulnerability. Being vulnerable. Share your true self, including your hopes, fears, and dreams with potential matches. Don't try to dump too much on the first date. But if you've filtered very well somebody who has similar characteristics as you, similar personality traits, then they'll be more receptive to hopes and desires and things that you share, because they're going to be at a different level than the most of the people that you would normally meet. Vulnerability is the cornerstone of building trust and intimacy in a relationship. You should do it, not too early, but you should move into the vulnerable state of the relationship, knowing that you filtered out potential scammers. So don't be vulnerable. It's kind of hard. It's like this double-edged sword, right? You want to be vulnerable, but you don't want to be scammed. So you need to really be able to do your research well. You need to know who's the family of that person is that you want to be meeting. You want to know who the friends are. It's nice if you met somebody through somebody, because then at least you've got a body of knowledge. Some background.
Check already.
Yep. Staying safe online. It's most important to prioritize safety at all stages of online or in-app dating. Use the site's communication tool. Do not, when someone sends you a request on LinkedIn to, hey, give me your WhatsApp phone number, don't do it. Just say, hey, I communicate all my business relationships through LinkedIn, right? And as soon as you do that, where did they go? They disappear. Feeling safe and secure is fundamental for emotional openness. What else do we have here? Let's continue on and go. Keep an open mind, being open to connections that might not fit your initial criteria, but resonate with you on a deeper level. Soulmates can come in unexpected packages. Focus on the connection rather than the checklist. Be open-minded in dating. It increases the likelihood of discovering compatible partners outside one's usual type. Finally, the journey to love. Online dating is a tool, not a destination. It's part of your journey in finding connection and love. Stay true to yourself. Be patient. Maintain positive, open attitude towards the possibilities. The journey to love is enriched by self-discovery, resilience, and willingness to grow and learn from each experience. Finally, develop a reflective and authentic profile. Be true to yourself. Do the homework. Apply a strategic approach to matching. Practice safe and mindful dating. And with that, we hope you, if you're on your journey to a soulmate, or you just want to develop a deeper understanding of yourself, and with your already existing relationship, we hope you learned something from our little program today.
Yeah, and I hope see you again the next weekend.
Have a great week.
You're listening to 90 Day Soulmate with the Relationship Engineers, Jim Gulnick and Lisett Guevara, only on LA Talk Radio.